Yo guys, welcome to part two. So we're just going to keep this moving, keep it nice and simple. So this is the leg workout for this series. So as you guys can see, there's so many muscles in your legs, similar to your back and really just your overall body. So you're going to need to do a lot of different things to hit all these muscles. Thankfully, the exercises that you're using to hit these muscles are simple, they're basic, and they're compound. So they use a lot of these muscle groups for these exercises. So it's not like you need to come up with like 12 different exercises to hit all these different muscles. So let's dig into this program. All right, so it's natural lifting, remember, right? So this is what this is scheduled around. So we want to stay injury free. We want to build muscle. We also want to get strong. So that means that we can't do too much volume. And I mentioned we want to stay injury free. That's really important. So there's a lot of factors that go into making that happen, but one of the biggest ones is honestly just having good form, guys. This is something that's really being pushed right now by, say, like the RP guys. But even before that, like we always knew that we needed good form. Like no ego lifting here. You got to control the eccentric. You got to control the concentric, so the positive and negative motions of the workout, and especially the negative motion. And even when you hit the lockout or whatever, you need to control that too. You need to be in control of the weights. You don't have to move turtle speed and be super, super slow, but you do need to be in control of the weights. And you need proper intensity and be consistent. Without consistency and intensity, you're really not going to get to where you want to be. So just keep that in mind. All right, so this routine, guys, is how I build my legs. As you saw from that previous picture, you saw some of the hammies, some of the quads. Still work in progress, and I kind of got to back off on my leg training a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm just going to be stuck doing leg extensions and leg curls for the next little bit because I'm overcoming a lower back injury. But this is what I was doing before that. So again, we're warming up and getting up to that top heavy set of 6 to 12 reps. Depending on how slow you go, you probably hit failure at a lower rep range. If you're moving a little bit quicker but still controlled, you might be able to get 10 to 12 reps. Or you can even do 10 reps and then do two partials to get 12 reps or whatever to train beyond failure. And then we're going to do that one drop set or the two drop sets. It just allows us to stimulate the muscle a little bit further and get a little bit more failure sets in, and not add too much volume, and also pump a little bit more blood into the area, stimulate the muscle more. It's just more stimulation without adding too much extra volume and too much extra like systemic fatigue, because you are dropping the weight not by too much, but by a little bit, so you don't have to be pushing heavy loads all the time. And so basically, guys, I kind of group it with a quad and like a ham kind of like thing in my head. So I do leg extensions, then I do some sort of squat, then leg curls, then a stiff-legged deadlift. And then on 1 week, I will do split squats with the dumbbell to hit like the glutes and quads a little bit more and everything else. And you use your adductors to stabilize. And then I'll do the good girl, bad girls, which is the adductor, abductor, where you push out and pull in, because those are really good to train as well. You don't want to neglect training your glutes and your adductors, because your adductors really add a lot of thickness to your legs. So if you don't have that, your legs are going to look very like odd, and you're not going to be able to pinpoint exactly what's wrong with your legs. But without the adductors, it just looks weird, even if you have massive quads. So that's what I do. So you got that option A or option B. It's kind of hard to do all at once, so I just typically split it up like that, because honestly, by the time you're even done like doing like the squats, you're pretty fried. So then to go into like stiff-legged deadlifts is pretty tough. Now keep in mind, guys, you're gonna pick basically which you want to focus on for that week. So I typically know if I'm going in there, I'm still going to work hard on every single exercise, but I kind of know if I'm going to focus more on quads that day versus hammies. Because if I'm going for a straight big PR on hack squat, I'm probably not going to be able to do a big PR on stiff-legged deadlifts unless that is a really, really good day. And if it is, then I'll just go ahead and do that because I feel good. But I know that one or the other should be my focus, whether that's quads or hamstrings. So just keep that in mind. You can't PR and you can't lift super, super heavy on every single exercise. You just kind of have to pick your battles and progress and alternate what you focus on week to week. All right, my calves. I do not skip calf day. You can't skip calf day. Even with bad genetics, you can improve your calves. I don't want to hear it, guys, because C-Bum, despite being a multiple-time classic physique Mr. Olympia winner, was cursed with super short biceps, which is basically the equivalent of being cursed with super short calf genetics. And yet he can win all those Mr. Olympias with bad biceps. So but he has still massive arms, so he still trains his arms. They get bigger. They can even look in some shots debatably more impressive than other guys, especially when he's being compared next to them. Maybe not individually because his biceps are kind of flat and super short, but again, compared to other people, they still look pretty good. So the same applies to the calves. So don't skip calf day. Just keep in mind that you want to rotate kind of like on the balls of your feet and just stay within mostly that stretch position. Get a good burn on your calves, control it just like how you would control any other exercise, and don't rush this movement. Don't be bouncing, don't be like quickly like double pumping it and then just dropping and double pumping it. Fast on the top with nice power, with a slight pause, control the way down, get a nice stretch, like just have good form with your calves. Don't make excuses and not train them, and also not train them properly, then say like, oh, I can't build my calves. When you're doing calves, guys, anything with like a straight knee, and by straight knee I mean like a slight bend in the knee, that's going to train more of your gastrocnemius. So from that picture that I first posted at the start of the slideshow, that's more like the meat of your calves. So that's mostly what you want to focus, but you also want to focus on the soleus, which is kind of like underneath the gastroc, which will help to develop like the lower half of your calves kind of. And it helps to also, I think this might just be hippie, but some bro science here, but I think it helps to also kind of push out your gastrocnemius to make your calves look bigger. And it also supports strength of your Achilles tendon, because I find that whenever I do a lot of seated calf raises, my Achilles tendon area is kind of like sore, and I know it's the soleus underneath that a little bit. So that's what's sore. It's not the tendon so much. So you need to do that to strengthen up that area, in my opinion. And you just need to just do everything balanced, in my opinion, because you want to have like proper development, and you don't want to have things overpowering other things, and that's how you cause injuries. So just keep in mind you want balance. So make sure you do both. And just kind of like how your lats are over top of your erectors. If you train your erectors, they really pop out, and they almost like they will push out because they're underneath your lats, but they're going to develop and pop out. So the same kind of works with your soleus. It will pop out and make your calves look bigger. So just make sure you do both, is what I'm trying to say. All right. So you'll notice a lot of overlap, guys, in these video series, and that's on purpose, because like the principles and the core foundation of this stuff stays the same. Really all that changes is like the exercise selection, but a lot of the like bread and butter stays the same. Like the steak and potatoes of like good form, consistency, trying to get stronger over time. So just keep that in mind. This does not have to be complicated, even though there's so many muscle groups within your legs, your back, your shoulders, so many muscle fibers. Do simple compound exercises and just be consistent, good form, get stronger, and you're going to build a very impressive aesthetic physique. And if you guys notice, I like doing isolation exercises before those big compounds. I find if you rest enough after those isolation exercises and rest enough on the warm-ups of the big compounds, it doesn't really affect my strength. I can still use basically the same amount of weight that I would use being fresh on the compound. Because again, I'm just doing one top set on these isolation exercises, right, with some drop sets. So it's not like I'm doing a bunch of top sets. So I'm not really pre-fatiguing myself too much. But I do find that I feel the muscle groups better when I do these isolation exercises first. Like I feel my hamstrings more when I do the leg curls before my stiff-legged deadlifts. I feel my quads more if I do the knee. Oh my gosh, the quad extensions, the knee leg extensions. I can't even think right now. The leg extensions before I do my squats, and I just feel like it's better muscle activation, better mind-muscle connection. So that's just what I do. Honestly, guys, I hope this helped you guys out. It's another video in the books. Honestly, we're going to continue this series for push, depending on what order you guys watch this, but I'm going to cover push next, and that's where I talk about, or I kind of already talked about my calf training, but just keep in mind that I do my calf training on my push day, because it's just too much legs to do all at once, to do quads, hams, a little bit of glute, and calves. It's just too much on the system. It's too taxing on the system, so I don't do that. So yeah, going to continue the series, guys. It's a pull, legs, push, and cardio and abs. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.